And speedrun start. Okay, hold on. I'm getting like really fast at this. You know what my final program might be if I ever do it? Is just I want to make a program that just does all this stream start stuff for me. Holy cow. Okay, paste, enter, done. Okay, go back, mute, lower quality, YouTube, paste, refresh, volume down, click, mute, low quality, YouTube, tab, new one, open. Music. Let's do Vi sessions. We've done Star Guardian and Diana recently. Play, low quality, mute, minimize, reorganize, click. Okay. All right. That was pretty fast. That took me like 30 seconds. Now, if only that was all automated. Wouldn't that just be juicy? I tell you what. We're over here nowadays, aren't we? Oh, look at that. Okay, put that over there. Maybe make me a little bit bigger. I don't know. If people like me being this big on the screen, I think it's fine. It's a little bit zoo, you know, a little bit of different, a little bit of Okay, this is where we were at. We need to make these functions, test it, make them all for different ones to see how we identify them. Although what we might do instead, no, we should define them all now. I was about to say, maybe we just define relics and just fill the cards with relic cards, but maybe our first like actual testable version of this program will be have a deck of cards of a vector of some size we define with some randomized, itemized IDs in there, and then we draw relic, spell, relic, creature, spell, creature, and we just see which ones we draw just to make sure all works. I mean, that might work, right? Make sure we get even like the interface down, so maybe we'll get to the point after that pretty quick where we like mouse over a card and like the bigger interface pulls up with like the attributes or text if we give it. Like, I bet that would work, right? I bet we could have a decent fill-in for all that stuff. Okay. Draw is not draw it onto the screen. That's render, so we need to be careful about that. I might rename that now that I look at it. Okay, so we have all that good stuff. So by making this a member of class card, we have an ID number, a rectangle for the card location on the screen, a card type. We need an angle. We need a float angle to render. Wait, are we gonna have an angle to render? Are we ever gonna have a rotated object? I don't think we are. No, we're just doing SDL render f rect, or render copy x. That's all we're doing, right? Render copy f. Oof, I'm not liking IntelliSense not filling that in for me. I don't remember if it was X or F. One of them rotates. I think that's X. F implies we can render a float rectangle, which we need. Sassy fajitas, Andrew Kversky. The bullet hell went well. We learned a lot. Right now we're making a card game, which currently doesn't have anything to render. It does render, or it does build, but it does build. It's just nothing happens. But we're learning here. We got like card types and everything. Oh, so beautiful. It's so pretty. I don't even know if that's readable. Is that like a good text size for you guys? I don't know. I don't know like what's an appropriate like text size. I don't know if it's like this is what you want or like this. Like inscription? I don't know what inscription is. I just know it as a skill in World of Warcraft. More like elements the game. Let me give you an example here. Now you can't play elements the game in, it was a Flash game back in the day, but I can show you the wiki. Not that wiki. Ugh, the better wiki. Ooh, zoom out. Okay, so this was traditionally like the OG, let me link it here. This was the wiki for like the original elements the game. You can get a good idea of like the design, really. There we go. Wow, look at that UI. Now that's a good website. Oh, it's like an accordion. So anyway, you click on an element. There's 12 elements in the game. You click it and it's like, ooh, here's an example deck. Here's how you paste deck codes. It's actually, we might copy this where every card has like a 3-digit text code and you copy and paste this into like the deck code thing and you get the deck. So that's interesting. Anyway, we're gonna probably do this game. Do this as in, I don't know. It's interesting. I just really like this game. I think it's just so fun. It's like one of the best online card games. And we're gonna do something similar. Ah, fucking Serif. What a stupid fucking card. God, I hated that card. It wasn't even that strong. It was 9 mana, so it was super expensive. It was 10-1, very typical fire animal stats. And then you have 1 white mana, light, Divine Shield. You're immortal for a turn. Fuck. Fucking dumbass fire immune shit. I'm starting my piano journey today, by the way. You ever play on stream? I have played on stream. I do play piano. I would say the hardest song I can play is actually a Final Fantasy VII song. FF7 Aerith. I have a recording of me playing this theme. I'm looking for the cover. There it is. The blue cover. This is the one for Advent Children. You do hear this in the first remake when you meet Aerith in the church. You can't hear it very well because I have music playing. But yeah, this cover I can play. I have that exact book right next to me. It's the piano collections for Final Fantasy VII. Sorry, whenever you see my eye like halfway shut there, it's because I'm rotated to my right where my keyboard is. But yeah, that's the most complicated song I can play. I bought the Final Fantasy 13 one to hopefully play one day. I mean, I like Final Fantasy to the extent Final Fantasy VII exists, but boy, oh boy, you start throwing 8 in my face or 10, I'm just pass. That's why the MMO, like, this is why I'm excited for Riot's MMO, because, dude, I can't wait. I want to, you know how people say like MMOs are dead? I don't think that's true. I just think we need another good MMO from scratch, marketed heavily. The thing is like Final Fantasy, the MMO is pretty popular, but like a lot of people started on that really late and it was not that good for a while. Whereas Riot Games, man, if they come out with a banger of an MMO and everybody knows about it and League of Legends fans go for it, oh, it's gonna be great. I can't see myself playing piano, but I always like to listen piano on YouTube. Ah, no, it's pretty easy. I mean, I've been taking lessons since I was a kid, so I mean, I don't know how easy it is for most people, but it's not that bad. Adults learn fast. You can do adult lessons. Go once a week, meet for an hour, have a piano teacher who's willing to tell you play badly. You'll get there. All right, syntax. I've never done interfaces before, so these functions will exist for all cards, these virtual functions. So now, as we come down here to define them, all I have to do is just do this, right? Wow, really? Is just do this. And now they're defined, right? That's all I have to do. Okay, kind of based. They're only equal 0 right now, just so they don't do anything. I've also taken them, but I didn't like it. Oh, it's kind of cool. Aren't we all secretly acoustic guitar players in our head? I dig it. All right, so what happens when well, here's what's gonna happen. This draw function, let's think about this. If we draw a card, what happens? It gets subtracted from the deck, but that's fine. We can just call this draw function. It's like, did this go off successfully? Okay, subtract 1 from the deck. I'm just thinking about why this is in cards themselves. Do cards care about being drawn? I guess they do. Maybe this should be renamed to like draw effect or something like that, where on draw do something. I don't know if we want the draw to be in the card class or in the deck class. Neither? No, it has to be one or the other. I feel like we should put it in cards then, right? Where every kind of card, relic, spell, whatever, is going to be drawn somehow. And the deck class or whatever would call that. So what happens when we draw a relic? Well, the ID number... I never really thought about that. Shouldn't you specify overriding a virtual method in C++? Do you have a link to an example? Isn't me defining this draw function here overriding this draw function here? Or are you saying I should be like override? Is that like an actual term? Oh, it is. Override keyword. Oh. So why doesn't this work? Oh. Override is undefined. I don't know. Override goes after the void draw before the squirrelies. What? That makes no sense. Why? Why is this the syntax? I would have never figured that out. How? Why? Okay. Yeah, I also hate it. Dumb C++. Oh, okay. I've been tempted to play before. Go for it. Why not? I mean, I have an expensive keyboard. Mine's like $1,200, but I mean, you know, I bought it at this point, maybe 12 years ago. I bought it a long time ago. Okay, so we have a draw override. Now, what is, if you draw a card, what functionally has to happen? I don't know if I can do anything with this until we have a deck. Or maybe we have like... ... remove card from deck count, if we even have it there, and then add the card to your hand. Do I need a hand module? Like holding your hand of cards, which is like max 8 number of cards. When you click it, you subtract quanta, like that mechanically must exist. I guess I could have it where if you click on the card, it does something. So if you click on the card in your hand, it does something. I guess I could do that. Hazard Quirstrubi, hello! Your name is very hard to pronounce in the last half of it. Is it like Hazard 0 USD 3V? So you have no money and you drive a Mirage? I don't know. I guess it written after because they couldn't introduce a breaking change by adding it before. Fuck the legacy servers, okay? Listen, we should abandon all ye who enter here. We should do it before. If I should make my own programming language, make it better. The card object should only be concerned with itself, not about the things that contain it, like the hand or the game. So it shouldn't care about drawing then, right? Oh, I guess it might. Like if the card senses is, I guess we can just test void is in deck or is in hand. I guess that might be a better way to put it. Because what if a card is in your hand and it changes something about it? I guess that's not true. That wouldn't matter, huh? And this would just be a Boolean value, right? So I guess this would be virtual is in hand, auto, auto bool equals 0. Does that work? Oh, it does work. Okay. Wow. Based syntax. Never mind. This is great. Look at that syntax. That's fucking weird, isn't it? Virtual auto is in hand, pointing to bool equals 0. Woohoo! The card object should only be concerned with itself. Yeah. For some reason, CMake is funky on Linux. Also, I don't recommend using these types of fonts and IDEs. You don't like my font? It's cute though. It has cursive. I like it. Maybe this shouldn't be a virtual method then, right? I guess it's a better, hold on, I have a better idea. What if we just have like a Boolean value? It's like is in hand. And then we just have a, instead of this, we have a void function. Change. Should a card care if it's in your hand or on the field? Does that ever matter in any card game in the history of mankind? Because stuff like is playable, the card doesn't care about that, right? It doesn't care about like if you have the ability to pay it. That's like other parts of the game. That's your deck or your ability to play in the game state. What does go on a card? Does a card even care about like drawing? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we just have set location, and all it cares about is just setting like some enumerated value of like where it is. So like enum class card location, where we set like deck equals 0, hand equals 1, field equals 2, graveyard. There is no graveyard, but like, yeah, that's how you would do that, right? Just so we can have like some place for it to be. I'm not gonna have a graveyard in this game though. Fuck graveyards. That's like the least favorite part about like any card game is the fucking graveyard. Dude, it's so boring. It's like, graveyard's a resource, so I throw half my deck into the fucking thing. Well, so why call it a graveyard? Call it your goddamn mana pool. Also, if it's purely optional, why wouldn't they use no discard syntax for that? Strange. You should have used Raylib. It's easier than SDL2. Nah. SDL2 is not bad. I have no problems with it. I like SDL2. It does what I want it to, which is create a window and handle textures, handle rendering, do all that stuff. Okay, I'm good. I don't need more than that. No, and if it does, the logic shouldn't be part of the card class. Oh, okay. Well, fuck this thing then. Yeah, okay. So fuck that. So let's get rid of that Boolean. Okay, so... Well, now I'm wondering, does the card care about, like, getting removed? Yes, it does care about getting removed. Because relics... No, it doesn't. I was about to say, because you need a type of... You need a card type on every kind of card, but I guess the ability to remove that card type doesn't actually matter. Wow, there's a lot of things I don't need in this. It's amazing what happens in a day, how much you realize, like, you're dumb. We don't need card location set type. We do want the type. Yeah, the ability to remove it doesn't matter. Display text, yes. Render it onto the screen, yes. Pay cost, yes, because every card is going to have like a cost to it. Well, no, this is the action of paying. Shouldn't there be like some value here? Like cost to make or cost to play? And then this is duration change. Are there cards that have effects when removed? Yeah, there are unique circumstances where like there's a creature that if you cast reverse time on it, which is bounce it to the top of your deck, there's a creature called Mummy where if you bounce it to the top of your deck or reverse time, it turns into another creature. So I mean, to that extent, but that's more of like an ability, right? That's not really a... Well, now I'm wondering, does it not belong in the class? Because I'm trying to think, like, if there's a relic that's like, be on the field for 2 turns and then remove itself. Like, surely that information would be in the card, right? It wouldn't be like somewhere else. Maybe if card logic depends on if it is in hand, but I guess I can accept it when it's asked for updating. So I'm thinking this is the perfect time for you to learn the term hook. The fuck? What is meant by the, oh, flashbang. What is meant by the term hook? Events and hooks are similar, so is there any different? If an event callbacks are called only after an event occurs, like a click, there's a on, before, unload event. That seems like the callback will be called before the actual event, so is it technically a hook disguised as an event? What? Essentially, it's a place in code that allows you to tap into a module to either provide different behavior or to react when something happens. Well, why does this matter right now? A hook is functionally provided by software for users of that software to have their own code called under certain circumstances. That code can augment or replace the current code. Do I care? Well, what's the practical use of like a hook here? I think it would make sense to make 2 different card types for card in hand and card in field or grave. You can store functions on a list, call them when an event happens. You can make remove hook for cards that get called when they're removed. Well, let's think about this. I thought what we would do is have some sort of like card. I'm leaning back in my chair, so if I'm looking upwards, that's why. So I thought we would have some interface for all cards in the game, like the amount it would cost to pay, the ability to render it onto the screen, the ability to display text, any sort of duration on the field numbers, and then relics, spells, and creatures from there. But the way we're describing it, I'm almost wondering if we should just have like a generic card class that all cards will be made under. And then we call some external event that like tests against something in the card class to tell if it is a relic or a spell and all that. Huh? Isn't that what card is? Is it? Like, I thought the whole point of separating these is that all of these virtual functions will have to be different for everyone, but it sounds like they're all just going to be the same, and the only thing that's different is like, I'm almost wondering, now that we know this hook thing exists, if that's a hint that like we should just be making every kind of card in the game is the same card, and it's just you draw it and the ID numbers are different and everything, but everything is the same until you click it and try to put it onto the field, and then something happens. But what if you have a card in the game that's like, you cannot cast spells next turn? I'm not saying that would exist. It doesn't exist. But if it did, then we have to differentiate in hand the difference between creatures, relics, and spells, right? We have to. So maybe we back it up a step. Maybe we make just a generic card class that every card goes under, not having derivatives or anything. And then when you draw the card, whatever enumerated value it has, whether it's creature, sword, whatever, it identifies as that in your hand. And then from there, they're different things. I don't know. It seems like the design space is going to be limited, isn't it? Because I'm worried that the design space is going to be limited, because what happens if you have something like... What happens if you have something like Fractal, which is an Aether card, a spell, where when you play it on target creature, your hand fills with that target creature? So you may think, well, okay, well, when you play it on a spider or whatever, your hand is full of spiders now. Does that mean we just create a card with that ID number and put it in your hand until it's full? Is that the correct way we should think about that? Because if so, doesn't that mean that if a card is on the field, oh, I guess you're not really technically making a copy of it, are you? It's not a copy of like HP and everything. It's like, it's just a new card. I guess that means that you can't do something like make an exact copy of a creature on the field into your hand, right? That's impossible. Because when a card is on the field, it's a different card than the instance of the object in your hand. And because those are different, you can't do something like create copy of target creature into your hand. You could recreate the card in your hand, but you can't make a copy of it. I think subclassing cards is important because certain aspects of relics and creatures are the same, right? Like the color, the card border, yeah. Not relics. Oh, I don't know if you guys know this. In this game, there's no such thing as common cards, rare cards, legendary cards. All the cards have the same value. We don't need to worry about like rarity and all that. Not relics and creatures in particular. I've never played this game before, but I just mean in general. I would just store handlers for card events and pass event handlers on card creation. Are you saying, because usually when I hear about like event handlers, I think of something like an achievement system. Is that correct? What I'm thinking now, I'm really leaning back a bit. I'm like looking at the ceiling right now as I pull the mic toward me. Okay, you're right up there next to me. Okay, so like, so isn't an achievement system a form of event stuff where like you don't actually call the achievement system every time you do something, right? It's you set some value to X, and when X is met, then the event system realizes it. It's like, oh, I've been pinged, time to do something, you know? Is that really what we're doing for cards? Like, I feel like in a card game, shouldn't the whole game be programmed around cards, not just have like event systems? Like event system seems like very taxing. Yeah, so I guess I need you guys to explain this to me. What's the point? Why even have this whole event and hook system if we're designing the whole game to be a card game? Like, I get it if you're in like, if you're like Final Fantasy or something and you have a card game in that. I understand that because the whole program isn't made around it. But like, why would you have a system like that built from scratch? Wouldn't you want to like not do that? Because if we have a, well, what is it? Okay, if we did that, what would be the point? We would have a card drawn that we would differentiate between a relic, creature, and all that while it's in the deck. But then again, we have another problem where like, what if you're deck building and you see the card and you click it? I guess the event would be like, where is the card being played or being clicked in, right? So if a card is in your hand, like Lycanthrope, right, which is an entropy creature that has an ability, like a one-time use thing where you use Dark Quanta and you make it like a werewolf. So you draw a Lycanthrope, right? And it's in your hand and you click it. It plays the creature and puts it on the field. Next turn, you click the creature again, it activates the ability. But outside of the game, when you're not on the field and you're in like the deck building screen, if you click the werewolf, the Lycanthrope, and you add it to your hand, well, then it adds it to your hand. It doesn't actually play the card. If you click the card in your in the deck, then it removes the card from the deck. So I'm wondering if we do need what all you would do for my event system in my head, I'm thinking of is that you would have an event system where like, if you're on the field and it's in your hand, do this. If you're on the field and it's on the field and it's been a turn, do this. Something like that, where if you're in the deck building screen and you click the card, do this. So I'm almost wondering if that is the event system we're talking about, where like, depending where the card is, the event system gives click the card different meanings. Well, if you have 300 cards and want a subclass for each card, you're gonna have like 300 classes. No, not a subclass for each card, but rather like, we're gonna have a subclass for like relics and spells and creatures. Obviously, if there's like 100 creatures, there's gonna have some ability to like differentiate abilities between all the creatures and spells and relics. But these abilities are so different, you might as well have them in their own branches, you know? If you have this card and you know it, clap your hands. Mr. Dick, hello! We're in the theory crafting stream. If you have 300 cards and want a subclass for each card, you can have 300 classes. 300 is definitely a point where inheritance starts to make less sense. Wait, what? What do you mean less sense? If you have 300 cards, god damn it, we're gonna pull up that website again. Hold on, I gotta click through like C++ stuff. When we look at these cards, is inheritance really gonna make this that hard to understand? Like if we look through air here, and we look through the air cards, ignore the ones on the right, we care more about the ones on the left. So like Dragonfly, 1 air mana, 1/1 creature. Each turn an air quanta is generated. Okay. Worm, 4 mana creature, 3/3, 2 mana, dive. Is it really that different? Like Fog Shield is different, but that's a relic and a shield. Wings is different. That's a relic, not a shield, but still affects creatures attacking. Thunderstorm, deal 2 damage to every creature. Flying weapon, turn your weapon into a creature. That might need its own subclass, but whatever. But like, I don't know. Like, is it really gonna need more than like 3? Doubles the attack power of all airborne creatures for 1 turn. All remaining air quanta is consumed. Owl's Eye. I don't know. We have Blue Nymph creating unstable gas. What a meme. I think your design is actually great. I'm talking more about how effects and death hooks work. What? What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? Death hook? What does that imply? C++ game hook. Programming. This is not doing what I want it to. Events. Maybe that's a better way to think of it. Events are basically signals that tell you something has happened. Certain types of events may also hold additional information about some state in the form of member variables. However, events do not act. They're just information that's passed around. Oh. So in this case, if we have an event, we're going to call it events from now on, not hooks. So in our events, if you don't have events, you'll just end up with a giant switch statement and however many relics. Well, now that I see this, I'm almost wondering if, now that I see how events work, is it like, when, like, is card played? Oh, a card is played. Send out an event ping that's like a card. Okay, let's say you have a relic that's like Boneyard, where it's like play or create a 1/1 skeleton every time a creature dies. It's like, okay, a creature dies. Send out the event ping that's like, okay, creature has died, everyone, creature has died, and it tells everyone a creature's died. That's an event, right? So our whole game, if that's the case, our whole game is just going to be events fucking everywhere. It's going to be an event for card draw. It's going to be an event for card played. It's going to be an event for creature death. It's going to be an event for fucking replace your weapon. Like, this whole game is going to be events, right? Yeah, I'll start saying events and callbacks. Well, I never heard callback before. Okay. Event handler. All right. Does anyone have like a YouTube video we can watch about this? This is something that I've heard of, but I've never actually implemented. I've always done like real-time shit. Like I didn't realize card games had this like event fucking cluster. Fuck. You guys are just waterboarding me with just information. I've been researching a lot about event system from scratch in our OpenGL game engine. While not quit, pull events. Okay, pull events. Oh, Oh, wait. Oh, shit. This poll event system that we have for SDL and control input, will that also take into events that happen from card to card? Oh, no, I guess event systems are necessarily driven by player input, isn't it? So if a player clicks a card and plays it, that does create some sort of event. But it's like mouse click down event do something, right? Yes, exactly. Are we gonna have two separate event loops then? Not event loops, but event queues, where we pull events for player input. And is this same pull event queue also going to be handling like events that happen in the game? So if anything happens, queue it up and then do it. But wouldn't it be more wise? Oh, I guess not. Is this why when you like kill a minion in League of Legends, it like takes a little longer than other times sometimes? Because the animation to play the death of the minion is in some sort of event queue, and it takes like a hot second for it to load. Not in League of Legends, because that's online multiplayer, but like sometimes in a game you shoot an enemy and it takes like a little bit for like something to happen. Is it because there's a bunch of things happening? Well, that's easier than I thought then. So I guess the question is, if our event system is already in the game, polling for user input, I didn't realize that event system could also handle like every kind of event, not just player input. So, an event is a general enough term that if it just means if this specific things happen, call this potentially set of user provided functions, it's not super complicated. Yeah, not in our case. So if that's the case, do we need a module? I don't know how big this is going to look. Do we need a module that's like defines an event type? Because in our case, ours is SDL event E, right? Which E is like user input. Does that same event also apply to... I guess it does. Because SDL event already takes care of like making events. A union that contains structures for different event types. Oh. Okay, well, what does this do? Common event data, display event data. Oh, mouse motion event. Okay, well, what's common event? SDL2, common event. Click here to create it. What the fuck? Joystick hat event, joystick button event, game controller event, quit request event, custom event data. A structure that contains an application defined event type. So the groundwork is already laid for us, right? A value obtained, timestamp of the event, the associated window, which is the main game, user defined event code, user defined data pointer, or leave them void. Interesting. So we already have the groundwork laid down for us then, huh? I think your events will need some view of the entire game state for maximum flexibility, so you'll just want to put it in such a place. Are you saying that we need to make a simpleton? What do you call it? Probably. You don't want to use SDL event system for gameplay specific events. You want your own separate thing. You agree with procrastinator. Okay, so we need to make an event module that has access. Let me think. Hold on. I'm going to close my eyes and we're going to have a Jimmy Neutron moment, okay? Brain blast. We're going to use a module, or we're going to make one that will define a custom event type that will have access to look at every information in the game. Does it need to be that complicated though? I don't think it does. What if, 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 Do I need that though? Like, how do I say this? If I have an event type for like, did creature die? What would have to happen first? Would the creature need to die first and then the event sends out the ping to everyone else that a creature died? Or is it the ping goes out to everyone that a creature died and then the creature dies? I don't know what's a more appropriate thing in my head. In other words, where's the root of what causes the event for that to happen? Well, how will you handle cards whose effects depend on the other cards on the field? Switch statements. Until you know more about what you need, the easiest way to implement this would have a class to store a function pointer. The fuck? What's a function pointer? You can point to a function? Does function take memory? I don't think so. Root will be user input, and then you'll have a cascade of functions. Root will be user input. Gee, oh no, not standard function. Everybody makes fun of this. Oh, do I need to use the thing that everybody makes fun of? All right, template function is a general purpose polymorphic function wrapper. Instances of function can store, copy, evoke any callable target functions via pointers. Lambda expressions bind. So you're saying that we need to make a standard function template that does something, and then we make a pointer for it. We pass that pointer's address or whatever it is to the event thing, and then we call that pointer whenever, wait, errors in C++23 cannot bind the return reference to a temporary int x equals f. Undefined behavior until C++23, the result of f function is a dangling reference. Wait, what? Int x equals foo function is undefined behavior until C++23. Why is this undefined behavior? Is this because this existed? I thought it was saying like, if you're using C++23, don't use this, use this. I just got here, but I'm not convinced you need an event system at all. Maybe you have some coordinate code that deals with more global things. Maybe you can just solve your problem there. I'm not sure what the problem you're trying to solve is though. Well, okay, let me go back to the beginning and maybe you guys can have a better idea of where we're going with this. So in my head, in Gary the Goo Boy's 50 IQ brain, okay, we exist. We're gonna have a card game. In this card game, we're gonna have 3 card types: a relic, a spell, and a creature. Now, I'm wondering what information actually goes into this card interface that will then be delineated between, you know, a relic, a spell, and a creature. Is it, do we give it information on like when, like has ability, card text, like obvious stuff, but what about something like card dies? Like do we need an event queue that handles like, okay, let's use Boneyard as an example, which is a relic, right? This Boneyard is a permanent, a relic that is on the field. When a creature dies, summon a 1/1 skeleton. So how do you define that? Do you define that in the card? I don't think you do. I think you have to have some sort of event queue that's like, that gets pinged. So what we would have in the card information is like, did this creature die? Yes. Okay. Send a ping to the event queue handler that's like, oh, a creature died? Remove it from the field, ping other cards to be like, hey, this creature died. If anyone cares, Boneyard. Like that. So maybe what we should be doing is just set some sort of Boolean value like bool is alive. And that way, whenever the card is quote unquote killed or removed from the field, is alive equals false. And that is like the ping, I'm assuming. And if it's equal to false, at the end of the frame, the event queue goes off and everything like chains from there. But that's all that card is cared about, right? That the card itself, it just cares if it's alive or not. It doesn't actually remove itself from the field. It doesn't actually do any of that. It's just like, it's a Boolean value, yes or no. Who tells the card to die? Probably the coordinating code. So that coordinating code has all the info that's needed, no need for events. There's a game loop that handles SDL events, so it'll ultimately start from user input. Well, will it? Hold on. No. Not exactly. So, in Elements the game, and this is unique to the game, so I don't expect anybody here to know this already, so bear with me. In Elements the game, you do not tell creatures what to attack. Everything smorks. They go face. But there happens to be a very specific card in the game that I'm looking for, and I don't see it. Fuck, the wiki's down. There's a specific card called Gravity Pull. Gravity Pull is taunt, except they don't have a choice but to attack it. So they'll attack the creature, it will die, and then whatever, right? But here's the problem. If you're at the end of the turn, you press spacebar or you click done, right? User control is done. The game kind of plays itself. So now I'm wondering, how are we going to handle this? If 10 creatures are attacking and you have your one gravity pulled minion and 5 creatures attack and then kill the minion, and then the last 5 go through and attack face, like, that's complicated, right? Because is the event queue the best choice for this? Because what'll happen is 5 creatures will attack, and then the taunt minion, the gravity pulled minion, sets its Boolean is alive to like no, right? And then the event queue goes from there. But are we really gonna have a system where we run the risk of everything happening at once? Because the way C++ works is it's going to iterate through the vector. Ooh, that's a question. Okay, I have a question about C++ just in general, in terms of like priority. If I'm iterating through a vector and an event queue goes off in the middle of it, what happens? Does that event queue function then starts running, and then once that's done, then the vector continues iterating through? I don't know the priority here. There's a game loop that handles SDL events. Yeah. Sleepy Mushroom, hello. That's up to how you program it, not necessarily C++. Well, what's the default behavior? If I have something super simple in here, like iterate through vector loop, and in the middle of that, it's like ping event. I guess my question is, does this vector iterate through completely and then the event action goes off? Like, does the loop finish iterating and then the event action? Like, where does this go? Does it go here or does it go here? That's my question. Like, where does the loop actually finish? In the words of John Blow, try to just write the code. Entangling everything into events tends to become a big pile of messiness. Well, this is kind of important now because, like, we have to know, like, now if we're gonna have events or not, right? If I don't have events, I can make the game, right? That's within my capability, I think. It's just, if we do have events, I now need to be careful, because the first thing we need to do in terms of like gameplay is test the end of game like function, right? Which is end turn, all creatures attack and go face, right? Like, I'm wondering how we even handle that. If the first 5 creatures attack the creature and the last 5 go face, When do we summon the skeleton? It's not simultaneous. Computers don't work that way, right? I don't know. That's so complicated. I guess we can go without it. It's fine. But then I'm worried I'm running into a bunch of switch statements. Unless you're forking a new thread somewhere. Default behavior is single threaded, so things will not be happening randomly at the same time. Well, yeah, but that's my question, right? Does anyone know? Does anyone have experience with C++? Or is it really just how I program it? Because the way I thought it was like, if you have an achievement system and your achievement is do 5,000 damage to the enemy's face, and in the middle of doing 50 damage, you hit 25 damage, it's like, oh, you reached 5,000, get the achievement. Like, that's fine if that happens in the middle or at the end of a vector. But if it's something like, if you have a gravity pulled minion, you don't want it to absorb the entire enemy field and then nothing happens to the face. You want your first 5 creatures to automatically attack the creature, kill it, and then the last 5 hit face. That's what you want to happen. So I guess I could do something like, I guess I could make an events system where, like, if event pings, do this before anything else in the game. Is that possible? For C++ nerds who know events, is it possible to make at least certain events like first priority for like doing anything? It must be possible, right? It's C++. Anything is possible. I don't know. It's tough to say. My advice would be to do the dumbest thing possible with minimal support systems. If and when that becomes too cumbersome, reach for a more complicated solution. The benefit of that is that when you have a concrete view of the problem, it needs to be solved and its requirements. You code your own priority levels if you want that, but sounds complicated AF. I need to watch a video. That's what we need right now. Casual Vim enjoyer. Oh my goodness, you and Overlord Vim, I tell ya. So let's do something like C++ event system. Let's do that. Narissa's streaming. What the fuck?
For me, Jidon, my soul.
Wait, was that her mom? Oh my god, her and her mom are streaming?
I'm not trying.
Yeah,
okay.
you are. You're
okay.
trying
Let
to
me
sound...
look at your mom.
She has 32,000 viewers, if you guys don't know. Okay. Sorry, that was way distracting. I just never catch Narissa. I like VTubers, okay? I'm a VTuber. It is what it is. The advice is valid in general, but even more important for someone with little programming and architecture experience. Okay, well, C++. Oh. Event system. Okay, blow my mind. C++ game engine, the event system guide. All right, go.
YouTube. Today we're going to talk about event system. So,
you know this is going to be a good programming video because I can barely understand what he's saying.
let's see what an event system is and what are events. Let's talk about events. So right now as I'm speaking, it's an event. I do the left click, it's an event. I do a right click, that's an event. And I'm breathing, it's an event. Everything is an event. So
okay, he's saying everything is an event, but that's user input. It's not really what I'm concerned about, right? I know how to do user input. We've done that plenty. I'm more concerned about like gameplay events. Like how are those handled specifically? Is it the same way?
So what are we going to do today? We're going to create an event system. So what does it do? It keeps track of all the events that are going to happen, and then there are some listeners to that event and all that stuff. So let me talk to you about this in detail.
Okay.
So this is an event. Event can be anything: left click, mouse left click, a key down, a key, press down, a key.
Okay, this is all user input, but that's not really my question.
Send a mouse press event, and this should be only be able to done right now in the engine ever event got triggered. That's
Sorry, I am 54 minutes late. No worries, Afton. No worries.
how simple it is. And to make this video short and like not waste your time, I have already done all the coding.
Yeah,
So
not
let's
the
make
editing. Goddamn.
a new folder called events.
See, this is why I think my videos got views, because holy shit, the editing. I should do a programming video.
Let's make event class.
Oh my
I'll
god.
explain everything to you as I'm writing.
Imagine typing dot header instead of dot ixx. Holy shit. Isn't your game turn-based? Yeah, casual Vim enjoyer, it is a turn-based card game. However, I'm wondering, the more we hear about this, the more I think we should make it like an event-based game where we have events everywhere, where all cards have to do and are concerned about is like, is it alive? You know, what is the current attack and defense it has? Like that kind of deal, right? Like I feel that is a better solution. And then once those values are set, it pings the event system to be like, okay, well, the card's dead. Let's remove it from the field. Let's trigger every on death effect, like that kind of deal, right? I don't know. Maybe that is the better way to do it. Maybe it's not a good way, but that's what I'm thinking.
This is all there is to event. Now there are gonna be different types of event, and I'm just gonna make all of them and then explain it to you.
Okay. Oh my god.
Event, nothing here. For right mouse, and same for the up, like when the button is up. This is down, this is up.
Oh my god. Okay, new video. Holy shit. So slow. Oh, the Cherno. The Kerno. I guess I could watch him, but he already made a game engine. That's not fun. It's 5 years old too. No. Observer design pattern. Is that what I was making? Can't you just have a queue? Well, isn't that just an event system that we currently have? Like under SDL, we have like SDL event, event, right? And this event then goes to SDL pull event function event, like that kind of deal, right? Where address of it, where basically we have some sort of pull event queue where every time we do something user input wise, it would, pull that event, right? The idea is that now we're going to have events for like, is it even going to be an event? I don't even know. If we set this Boolean value of is alive, well, Boolean is alive, like that kind of deal, right? If we set that value to dead or false, right? Is that a ping? Is that going into the event system? If we have a custom event system where this is alive value is, hold on, let me play some music. If we have our event system where this is alive value is being monitored, aren't we getting into like singleton territory? Is that stupid? Am I being dumb here? Like, aren't we just making singletons everywhere? No, not singletons. The coordinating code can just read card is alive. Why do you need events? We need events because what happens if you have something like, here, let me just pull up the card here. Let me give you an example of why that would matter. Elements of the game, wiki. Okay, so let me give you an example of this, okay? Where's death? Mark, flesh spider, vulture. Okay, here's one for you, vulture, right? Vulture, 3 death mana, 0/1. Scavenger. Every time a creature dies, a vulture gains 1/1. Or the vulture gains 1/1. So if that's the case, well, how do you ping for that? Is it like the vulture checks every frame if another creature has died? Like, wouldn't it be easier to where if a card is set to die because is alive equals no, then an event system would say, hey, I just got pinged that this card died. So remove that card from the field and then tell everything in the game that this creature just died. Like, that is the appropriate way to handle that, right? This is in JavaScript where everything is asynchronous by default. Events make things asynchronous. JavaScript is single-threaded. Oh, disagreement in the chat. Oh, jeez. Oh, they buffed this card. Yeah, Skeleton used to just be a shitty-ass 1 death, 1/1, and that was it. But now it gets turned into a random creature if targeted with reverse time. That's a new thing. Don't do this, by the way. It's a terrible RNG shield deck. So this is Boneyard. This is what I was thinking of. Every time a creature is killed, Boneyard generates a skeleton. So yeah, that's a thing. Poison is cumulative. Or Bone Wall. Gains 2 shields whenever a character is killed because it's great single target blocking. I don't know. It's just really complicated. Gray Nymph. Fucking useless ass nymph. Or like, what's another example? I think Light has one, right? Oh my god, Luciferin? Oh! I was like, wait a second, what was bioluminescence? And I was like, oh, that's right. 9 mana, so super expensive. 6/9, shitty stat. Well, it's okay stats. 4 light mana, one of the most expensive abilities in the game. Give a creature the ability to generate 1 light mana every turn and heal yourself. Wow, that's really expensive, Gary. So you think? Well, here's the twist, okay? Photon has bioluminescence over here, the upgraded Photon, which I don't really like upgraded cards, but we could talk about that later. Each turn, light mana is generated. That's bioluminescence. Well, Light has a shield called Hope. 7 light mana, so it's pretty expensive. Physical damage reduced by N. N is the number of light-emitting creatures, immaterial. So it's a shield you cannot remove from the game. It's immortal, and every creature with bioluminescence buffs this card's physical damage reduction by 1. And chat, let me tell you right now, this is like one of the 3 pillars of like false god killing. It's such an interesting deck where you want maximum fucking photons everywhere, ray of lights. However, you fucking fractal, then you fractal out a bunch of ray of lights, which are free to play. So you just play fucking 20 of them, and then you play Hope, and hope to God they don't have creature control. The coordinating code does if any given card, or wow, wait, what? If a card is alive, not for auto cards, if Vulture card attack might have gotten element specific things wrong, but you get the idea. But that's not an event. Oh, that's right. You don't like events, do you? So you're saying, but where do I put that? Is that not just in like the main game loop? Is that where I'm putting that? So you're saying like if a given card is, oh, I guess it would be an iteration, huh? So you would have something like, a for loop. Well, you would do a ranged for loop here, but bear with me a second. So int I equals 0. I is less than cards in play vector dot max size plus I. Obviously you wouldn't do this here. It would be a ranged for loop, but I'm forgetting the syntax in my head. Then you would have something like if exclamation point card in play dot is alive. No, card in play I dot is alive. Something like that, right? and then you would do something. Is this sustainable in the long run? Because I'm worried about like priority. Like, do we test if something is alive before or after we test, like, did it live through something, you know? Like, what if a card gains 1 attack every time it lives through an attack? Does that make sense? So what happens first? Do we give it 1 attack and then it dies, or does it die and then give it 1 attack? That seems like it matters. Do this until you accrue enough examples of what needs to be done that you can intelligently design support systems to facilitate them. Exactly. I don't see how it needs to be complicated with asynchronization everywhere. Wait, why async? Are you multi-threading? No, he's not. I'm just agreeing with you. Chat, are you all agreeing with each other in the end? Oh God, you're all like mature and nice to each other. You're not like calling each other dicks. You're not being mean. You're just like, you know what, sir? That is an understandable point, and I appreciate your input on the subject. Gary is a dumbass. I was like, oh, I don't agree. I volunteer. Okay, let's do that. Let's do what that suggestion was, which is let's, for now, ignore having an event system. I think what we're gonna do is our first event system is gonna be something super simple like an achievement system. Once we have that done, then we can worry about like more complicated things like having event systems for like gameplay loops about like iterations and all that shit. Or interrupting iterations. The dying thing is of low priority though. Low priority, yes, but it needs to be done and it's the harder thing to do, so I figured why not, you know? Okay. So let's not have a bunch of asynchronous stuff everywhere. Let's just keep it in one solid, simple line of logic, you know? So if that's the case, our constructor for a relic. So let's go back to the topic of constructors, okay? So Gary, is there anything to show besides my dumbassery? Yeah, we can press the play button and it ends immediately, but it does end successfully, huh? So I guess let's go to the topic of construction. I would say make the queue first. Based. So let's do this. Let's talk about construction. When I construct a card, when I make a card for the first time, do I just construct the ID number and the art that's gonna be on the card? I feel like, how am I gonna be inventing stuff? Like, I'm not saying we're gonna have it in the game because we won't, but how would you do something like flavor text? Like, would you have like a giant ass constructor for one object that contains a string? Or not a string, but you know what I mean. I just never really thought about that. How would you construct a card in a card game? Art in that seems fine, but what if I want to change something like setting its attack value and defense value? Or would I just call a function later to define those traits? I'm almost wondering if we should like decouple them. I don't know if decouple's the right word, but what if instead of assigning a value to the card, no, it must be because you're testing if it's alive. I was about to say when you play a card and it's a creature card, then assign it some attack and value that's already predetermined. But that's kind of useless, right? Like, what's the point of that? A card is not born in any defense or attack position, is it? It's added to your hand first, so there is no reason to make that part of the constructor. So you're saying that what we should do is have some sort of function that's like void define attack. Oh no, it would be like, actually it would be like auto define stats parentheses where it would take in some int, well, it would take an ID number as a parameter, and then it would have, actually, no, this is part of the object. You don't even need that. You would just have define stats of this card object. Then you would have it return a pair of ints, but I don't want to say that. So it would be like stats or something like that. Stats being a term we have to define, which is just 2 int values, which is a struct. So then you would define that as grab stats from JSON file from, and then have some sort of ID number there. You guys get what I'm getting at, right? And then it's like return stats, something like that. So every time we play a card, it runs the function to define its stats. What is your programming philosophy? Object-oriented, data-oriented? Whatever is appropriate for what we are doing in front of us at the time. I'm learning. I think of all the programming styles, I like the ones that you guys recommend. True. Oh my God, somebody hit me up on Tinder. Hold on. I got priorities. I got Tinder. Hold on. Oh, I've met her before. God, I haven't seen her in like 3 fucking years. She likes hockey. I remember that. We went to a hockey game together. All right, maybe I'll say hi to her. She's not the one who called me a basic read for you smartasses out there. I went on a date with a girl at the mall like maybe like 6 months ago. And she called me a basic read. And I was like, damn, girl, what the fuck? Girls are based. They are very based, yes. Oh, chat. I'm thinking. We shouldn't have started with cards. I think what we should have done is just define a card object that literally is only defined by an ID number, and that's it. And just have that be the definition of a card, which is just an int ID number, and then make a deck that randomizes those ID numbers and then plays those ID numbers on the field. And then you define the difference between a hand, a deck, and a field. And then after all of that, then define everything about like the stats of the card. I wonder if that was the thing. I think we have to start over. Well, not start over. I mean, we're fine keeping the text we are, but I think we need to have like a re-understanding of the order we're going to be making this game in. I thought you had to define everything about cards first, but that's not true. I'm kind of getting like roadblocked here, where I'm trying to define what cards do, but I can't really define what cards do until I define what the deck does, and you know what drawing is, and fucking hand versus the field. Like, I feel like once those problems are not solved but figured out, like what we're going to be doing with them, then we can come back to card. It's like, okay, I need these values from the card, you know? I need this Boolean value of if it's alive or not, and then kind of just make a card as I go. I think that's a better way to do it. In fact, we can even keep this like different relic, spell, creature thing by just changing this enumerated value to whatever that card type is. So then I would just make 10 like different ID numbers of each one, throw them into a deck, and then run some sort of shuffle deck algorithm, quote unquote, play the game, where if it's a creature, it's red. If it's a spell, it's blue. If it's a relic, it's green. Oh, we played the red card, it gets played onto the field. If we play a blue card, it just disappears from the hand and nothing happens. If we play a green card, then, you know, that's there and it just goes into the relic spot, that kind of deal, right? I think that might be a better way we actually test this game. I think that's what we do. You're a bit wet. Excuse me. I'll have you know, among the goo people, I have dry skin. But thank you. I appreciate it. Bit amici. Hello, Mr. Italian man. How are you? Oh, I do want pizza, chat, and I'm not gonna eat it because I don't want to get fat. I'm gonna have a salad and just imagine it's pizza. Well, now I have dry skin. That was amazing. Chat, look at this guy. He follows me. He compliments me. He comes in here telling me I have great skin. Oh my God, he's buttering me up like a pair of pancakes. Jeez. Why can't everyone be that great? Be that nice? Y'all are like, you suck at programming. And you know what? You're not wrong. But you could bribe me at the same time. Tell me how great I am. You should start by just rendering some card on the screen and setting up a playfield where you can do more manual testing from the beginning. Just vibing with you, I think you are completely correct. I think that is the better way to do this here. I thought in my head, okay, this is where my priorities were. I thought in my head, I could just define, just to be clear, this is an interface for all you people who don't know what virtual is. That's why this is undone. I thought I could just define what a card was and do all the work there and then do the rest of the game. But I think I have this backwards. I feel like defining what cards do is like the last thing you do in a card game, ironically. And what you should be doing is setting up, you know, the menu to get to the game and have the field and all that shit. I think that might actually be the correct thing to do. No Huckleberry pancakes this time? No, we had them yesterday. I just want regular pancakes. I have never seen cursive monospace before. It looks so cool and cursed both at the same time. I do like it. It looks cute. I wanted full cursive. Like, hold on, I have an example. Ignore the background. Where's my Lucy said okay? I wanted this text where it's like all cursive, and then it was a problem because they don't show numbers until you pay for it, and it's like $40 goddamn. But I wanted this text because all the capital letters have a little heart in them. Look, a little heart. I wanted that, and it was so cute. Ugh. You want to be programming, not doing data entry? Yeah. Well, the data entry is the fun part, to be fair. Boy, am I glad they font blocked you. Ah! I agree with Mr. Fajitas de Pollo. Oh, I love chicken fajitas. I don't know if it's because I had a Mexican girlfriend for like 3 years before, but like her whole family immigrated from Mexico. And chat, let me tell you right now, her mom's food was the most amazing food I have ever had in my fucking life. Her mom's like, I'll just throw something together, but it wasn't in English, it was in Spanish, but I'm just telling the story in English. She's like, I'm gonna throw something together. And she just like whips something up, yelling at her fucking 5 kids that she's like raising in the house, like babysitting for like their grandchildren or something. And she's like, that's Mexico cooking. And then she cooks, and it's like the most amazing thing I've ever had in my life for like 10 seconds. And then I'm not gonna say Goo Boys can't handle spice, but I am saying it was rough. I am saying I can't handle spice, but outside of my mouth getting destroyed, I mean, it was pretty great. I think you should define the cards first and then do the menu. Well, yeah, fair enough. So here's what I think we're gonna do. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna bring out paint. This is the current plan. We're gonna make fill solid. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have, I do believe I pressed fill solid, ya dick. Whatever. We're gonna have a red card. Red. We're gonna have a blue card. and then we're gonna have a green card. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. That's all we're gonna do. This is a creature card, this is a spell card, this is a relic card. What we're gonna do is have the field of play. Oops, the field of play. Then we're gonna have, you know, where your hand goes, where the field is. Whoops, didn't realize it would override that. Awkward. Where the oh, because it's filling, because I'm a dumbass. Where the field is, and then, you know, where your quanta goes. Like stuff like that, right? And then down here where your little quanta label and your equipment go. All right, so cool, right? And then it's flipped over for the opponent. So this is their hand spot. And this is their relic pool. And this is where their equipment goes. Stuff like that. And then once we have that all defined, then, you know, if in other words, things go where they should go, right? So like creatures go like here and here. And for the enemy, it'll be here and here. There's no lanes in this game, but just I remember the order of operations for how the field goes, because you could have like 50 creatures on your side of the field. It gets stupid. And then permanents go like here and here and here potentially. Like that kind of deal, right? And then blue cards, all they do is just disappear, right? They get played. Maybe I'll have it like on the screen for like a second, like zoomed in so you know what it does and then disappears. Like I think that might be what we do first. Like define the field of play. Yes, this is how you do it. Let the abstractions make themselves known. Don't try to create them from thin air. Yeah. If your card stuff doesn't even work, then all that menu stuff you do will be useless. Yeah, fair enough. You could click and draw a random card since you were talking about that anyways. You could click and draw a random card since you were talking about that anyways. Yeah, true. We could define the deck shuffling algorithm so that when you draw a card, it's actually like a random green, blue, red, whatever it is. If we have 10 of each on the deck, it'll actually randomize which hand you get, you know? You only have 8 cards in your hand, that kind of deal, right? Maybe even have like a lose state if you draw all 30 cards and you drew the 31st card and you didn't draw anything, so you lose the game. When can I summon my blue eyes white dragon? No blue eyes white dragons, but we do have azure dragons. Have you guys ever played Heroes of Might and Magic 3? I love Heroes of Might and Magic 3 or 2, the good one. It's I think it was 3. They had dragons in that game. That's like one of my favorite. Oh, it's like one of my favorite single player fucking is it an RTS? It's not an RTS, but like that kind of game, that fantasy setting. It's like the only kind of dragons that are cool. You had motherfucking rust dragons. Oh, like metal ass rust dragons that just wrecked your fucking melee ass. Oh, it was so good. That's the front end stuff though. What about the entity system? How will you calculate and all that game logic stuff? Well, that's the thing though, is that once we have all this figured out, it's like, okay, when a creature is now defined as being on the field, what does that mean? How does it get stats applied to it? When a creature is fucking dead, like what happens? How does this boneyard summon a skeleton? Like if we can do something like that can be our first test, is like, did this creature die? Does this boneyard then summon a new creature that's a 1/1 skeleton? You know, we could do that. Like once we do this is all testable from here. Like I think that's what we're gonna do. Gary, what the fuck is a boneyard? Oh, sorry. Not everybody plays Elements the game. I apologize. You should, even though it doesn't exist anymore. Because if you go to Elements the game website, look at this. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Everyone shut the fuck up. Elements the revival? Oh my God, it's a oh, it looks like the old game. Oh my God. Okay, the text is a little wonky, but like, hold the fucking phone. Yo, let's play this fucking game. Hold on, let me actually, hold on. Hold on, let me fix this screen here. 1 second. Oh God! Fuck. Look at this! Oh my God, real ass elements of the game! I mean, my favorite was A there, but it's kind of broken. Like all the text is fucking weird. They stole your idea! Yeah, but you will always process game logic stuff at the start of the frame, and when everything is done, then you render. The way you are suggesting is the other way around. Oh, is it? How you doing, Gary? It's been so long. Donut dealer. I'm doing great. I don't know, what's like a really simple one for you guys to understand? Like, let's do death, because I feel like we've talked about that a lot today. So let's choose the deck. Oh my God, even the UI is the same. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, remove all that gravity shit from your deck. Remove the quantum pillars. Okay, well, shit, let's play. Then you go to your level 2, level 1. You lost the, okay, so this is not the same game. The UI is worse. But yeah, this is what I was just saying. Look at the field of play. Hold on, let me get down here. Look at the field of play. It's like exactly how I just described. You had your hand and your equipment over here and here, and then you have your quanta, you have your deck count. It is a worse UI to be, oh, ew, I have to press play? Okay, in the old game, you could just click the card and just play it. So there you go. Now you end your turn, you get all your mana, it's permanent. We might change that, but whatever, it's permanent for now. Then you play your flesh spider and your virus. There you go. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. Also, it's broken because I could use this ability. Then you play Bone Wall and you win the game. So you see this little glow, chat? This is something we have to have. This is super important. So this card is Infect. Sacrifice this card to inflict 1 damage per round to a target creature, right? So you click it. Oh, here's the real gimmick. Oh, you guys ready for this shit? I don't think you guys are ready because you've never seen this at a card game before. What happens if you click this? Select target. Wait. What the fuck? Okay. Makers of this game. Don't do this. What? Okay, never mind. That was broken. Also, hello? Oh, ew, the lag. Okay, this is a weird, like, remake of this game. This game is way less responsive. It should be really snappy. It should be fast. It's meant to be fast. It's very not that. I understand it's a fan game, and it's like a very, like, stripped down UI. But, I feel like it's not. Oh, look, Boneyard. Hey, there it is. Every time a creature is killed, it generates a skeleton. Boom. Gary, attack his creature. I can't. You guys have no idea what's going on. It's so non-responsive and it's so like badly like layout. You selected your own card as the target? Yeah, but Virus should... Chat, why do I have Boneyards on my field? What the fuck just happened? I looked away for a second and I see 5 Boneyards on the field. Chat, this is a relic. It's not a creature. What the fuck? Okay, that, oh, they just disappeared. Okay, I want everybody, okay, listen, okay? I don't want anyone to make fun of my game when this game is this buggy. Holy shit. Infect every enemy creature. Inflicts 1 poison damage on every enemy creature. Removes invisibility. Activate. That's what it should have done. So this is what I was expecting Virus to do, which is like cause a poison damage. So now these guys will die at the end of the turn. And then we press play. Also, they messed up this. Abilities can't be used the first turn a creature's out. You can't play a virus and then click it, select a target, boom. Also, this should be a skeleton, not a boneyard. I don't know why that bug exists. But yeah, that's a buggy system. Creatures only take poison damage at the end of the opponent's turn. But yeah, it feels very unresponsive. I don't like this this version of elements of the game. I don't know if I ever would have played more than half a match historically if this was the case. Oh my god, it's so fucking slow. Dude, it's hard to tell when even whose turn it is because like there's no like numbers going off, there's no UI, there's no like anything. I do like how you can see how much damage you'll do at the end of the turn though. Pendulums, I'm not gonna have those. Fuck talking about those. I hate that card. Did you pick the battle mechanic? What do you mean? Horned Frog! Now you may think, chat, a 2-mana 3/3 is something that nobody's gonna use because it's such a cheap card and nobody's gonna use it, right? There is a card called Adrenaline. I can show you guys it. We won! Oh, and then at the end of the game, you press your little spin button. It's like, click, click, click. Well, they got the timing right. And then if you roll 3 of the same card, you get the card. So you go to the bazaar and you could buy every single card in the game because fuck pay to win. And then life, and they have a card called Adrenaline. Now, chat, talk about any link to this? Oh, this game? Oh, guys, this is not a good version of this game. This is fine, but it's a really buggy, really bad UI version of Elements the game. It does exist if you guys want to try it, like the base mechanics of it, but it's a bad version of it. But if you guys want the basics of it, Adrenaline, 4 life mana. Target creature attacks multiple times per turn. Smaller creatures gain more extra attacks. That is super vague, but 3 attack is the sweet spot. Horned Frog has 3 attack. What it'll do is you'll play Adrenaline on a Horned Frog, and then it does, instead of 1 attack of 3 damage, it does 4 attacks of 3 damage. It does 12 fucking damage. Holy shit. I don't know. It's buggy for sure. Tip of the year. Oh, that's cute. Tip of the year was the same tip since like 2009. It's an old tip. Tip of the decade. Honestly, it's hard to explain, but which type of card battler, simply put? Yes, it is mained Unity and it is very, very, very bad. Oh, I mean, it's not good, but like they tried. They're doing what I'm doing now, which is remaking the game. I get it. It's fine. They didn't rebalance anything, to be fair. Can I just like try a false god? You don't even have false gods enabled. Oh, it's like the fun part of the game. Top 50. There's no opponent found. Oh, that's cute. If you play PvP online, the top 50 win rate decks, I think you can play against for like better rewards. False gods reward twice as much, but you know, it's there. Anyone in chat play Elements the game? Maybe you'll find some people, because I did play this game on stream before, and there is a community behind this still. Does this bring you to the old forums? Ah, that's based. Oh, the old fucking forums. All right, we're done. We're done. I can't play that forever. Mainly because I don't like how they did it. Whoa, chat, the screen. What the fuck? How do streamers make a living doing this? Holy shit. There's so much tech stuff I have to worry about right now. Okay, minimize, close. Okay, I think that's the stream today because tomorrow we have to I'm gonna come in with like a change of mind. Okay, we're ending the stream super early today. Okay, I get it, but like tomorrow I want to do it from like let's prototype this game. Let's get things on the field. Let's make the game snappy and feel good. And once we get to the point of making it snappy and feel good, we'll worry about mechanically how it works. I think that's what we'll do. We'll Mario 64 this shit. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good evening. Give me kisses. Goodbye.